And welcome back to Eyewitness Newsmakers from your locally election headquarters. Andy Mahalchik along with Jan Bugda. In this segment, we're going to be talking and asking questions of Democrat Gary Wegman, who's running for the seat against Dan Muser in the 9th Congressional District. First of all, welcome to Newsmakers, Mr. Wegman. And let's start off with the first question. Tell the folks at home a little bit about yourself, your background, and why you decided to run for public office.
Well, thank you very much, Andy. My name is Dr. Gary Wegman. I'm a practicing dentist for 37 years and a lifelong resident of Berks County. And also, along with my wife and 3 children, I own and operate a 5th-generation working 100-acre farm in the Ole Valley. So I've seen over almost 40 years of working in healthcare, Andy, that a market increase in the number of patients that I treat that cannot afford the health care that they need or their children need. I've also seen an astronomical increase in the pricing of health care premiums and prescription medications, and I'm not hearing a willingness from our representatives in Congress to address these critical issues. The people of the 9th District are really tired of the politics of division. They're tired of Democrats trying to bring down the president at his every move, and they're tired of Republicans who refuse to bring legislation to the floor of the Senate for a fair hearing. I'm going to work real hard to bring nonpartisan solutions and bring real results to reforming healthcare, to improving our public education system, and to bring real investment in infrastructure to create living wage jobs for all the people of the 9th District. Hey, look, I've had a full career. I can work and fight for real change. I don't need to be beholden to the special interest lobbyists or the political elites. I'm here to represent the people of the 9th District. That's it, plain and simple.
And Gary, the reason we're joining today via Zoom is because of COVID-19. So how do you think the COVID-19 pandemic is being handled?
Well, I would have wished that we would have acted as the United States of America. We need unified and uniform messaging from the top down. We need our elected leaders all to be saying the same things. So I think unified messaging is key, and we're not getting that yet. We need our governors, our president, and all our elected leaders to be telling us the same things. And that way we can go from state to state, and this is how schools are going to be treated. This is how businesses are going to be treated. And one of the things we don't have, Jane, is we don't have real-time testing. We don't know if somebody has something for several days after a test. You're not going to be able to lock it down. So until we get 3M Company to come out with the real-time at-home tests that they're talking about, we're in a mess here.
Speaking about COVID-19, of course, the big impact on the nation's economy. There seems to be some life coming back into it, but it's been devastated without a doubt. What's your plan to try and bring back the economy?
Hey, my plan is to take advantage of Jerome Powell's largesse. The Fed is lending money at less than 1% from bank to bank. Why is this a partisan issue? This is a nonpartisan issue. We need to be putting Americans back to work bigger than we've seen since the Eisenhower administration. Infrastructure investment can bring about living wage jobs that will return the money we invest $4 to 1, but it has to be job creation. It can't just be given to people as a tax cut and hope that they'll invest in their businesses and their workforce. We have to tie the release of money to real jobs and create workforce investment in our passenger rail systems. Look at all our cities like Tamaqua and Pottsville and Lebanon in this 9th District. They have aged infrastructure in piping for water supplies and sewer pipes that need to be changed out. Let's take advantage of the low interest money and put people back with living wage jobs and improve America. Look, we've spent $6 trillion over the past 20 years overseas. It's time to start investing at home here in America. And my opponent's not creating this. I'm not hearing this. Where are these dollars? This is something that should have happened years ago. The president ran on creating infrastructure improvements.
And just switching gears a little bit here, Gary, we've seen a lot of violence across our nation, and many people are calling for the funding of police departments. What is your opinion on this?
Well, I have an intimate relationship with a lot of our police force, and you got to remember the Ninth District is a lot different. We only have small communities, and many of our communities don't even have a municipal police force. So we look a lot different and do things a lot different from a lot of the big urban areas that are seeing a lot more problems in dealing. But I'll tell you what, it's the United States, and we all have to have a conversation about our public safety strategies. And I understand how our third class cities work. We need participation. We want the youth and everybody to come to the table. I know the supervisors and the city council will welcome anybody who wants to come and help work out solutions. Our police shouldn't have to be parking enforcers and social workers and all the other tasks that we're asking them to do. They're already underfunded on most of our police force with the monies that the municipalities no longer have due to COVID. So we need to have a conversation on how we can do things better. I'm all for it. And I know the police are also. Look, in Pennsylvania, we recently passed legislation that said that your record's going to travel with you from precinct to precinct. This is a smart idea. If you're a bad actor, we're going to weed you out and get rid of you. And I think all states need to take up legislation like this.
Okay, Gary, we're running quickly out of time, but let's go. One last quick question. Healthcare reform. You're in healthcare. What has to be done to have healthcare reform that people have been talking about and saying it's just not happening?
We got to deal with the low-hanging fruit, Andy. Prices of prescription drugs are way too expensive. We have a system already in place for our Veterans Administration and how it buys drugs for our vets. We had a bill last year that my opponent voted against. I'd like him to justify that to everybody on insulin and who are all taking prescription meds in the Ninth District, because this has to get under control. We can't keep subsidizing the price of prescription medication for the world. So that would be the first thing that we need to get done.
Okay, and Gary, we're coming to the end of the time. You have now time to address the voters and tell them why they should elect you to Congress.
Well, thank you, Jane. Listen, the people of the Ninth District want an elected representative who gets them. I'm no stranger to hard work. I've worked 2 jobs my entire career. I understand healthcare, and I want to bring some good ideas to how to improve our healthcare and save some money in our healthcare system. I also understand how our third-class cities work. I've served on boards of municipalities, and we need to bring back investment in our infrastructure. So I ask you, take a look at my Gary Wegman for Congress Facebook page and my GaryWegmanForCongress.com website. Look at the video content that I've posted up there and listen to my podcasts. And if you find that your values are congruent with mine, then I humbly ask for your vote in the upcoming election on November 3rd. Vote for me, Gary Wegman, in the 9th District. Thank you kindly.
Okay, Democratic candidate for the 9th District House seat, Gary Wegman. Thank you very much for spending time with us today.
Very glad to be here. Hope to see you soon.
Okay, thank you. And you are watching Newsmakers from your local election headquarters. We'll have more right after this.